Yes, folks.
Keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', and do a little more each day. A right young lad was William Brown, worked for a wage in a Yorkshire town. 8 in the morning to 6 at night, turning that wheel from left to right. Keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', and do a little more each day. Now the boss one day to William came. He said, look here young, what's your name? I'm not content with what you do. Work a little harder or out you go. Keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', and do a little more each day. William turned and he made a run 6 times round in the time of 1. Turned so well he soon was made Lord High Turner of his trade. Keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', and do a little more each day. William turned with a goodly smile, the goods he made were such a pile. Filled the room and the room next door, overflowed to the basement floor. Keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', and do a little more each day. News of this most wondrous tale soon appeared in the Sketch and the Mail. The railways brought excursions down, all to see young William Brown. Keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', and do a little more each day. Sad is the sequel now to tell, he turned out more than the boss could sell. Stocks piled high and the price came down, 7 more days why they sacked young Brown. Keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', keep that wheel a-turnin', and do a little more each day. George. We're gonna have to have a song now.
Nigel doesn't know anymore.
Before the onslaught of American music, we'll have another English song. Yeah, Pete's still right?
Keep your feet to yourself.
Charge.
Where are we starting?
Yeah, again. Geordie and Bob Johnson, we they both slept in one bed in the little boarding house just down the shore. But before he'd been an hour asleep, a kick from Geordie's foot made him waken up to roar instead of snore. Keep your feet still, Geordie, hinny, let's be happy through the night, for we may not be so happy through the day. Oh, just give us that bit comfort, keep your feet still, Geordie lad, and even drive me bonny dreams away. That last bit's the chorus. Down to us a dancing held, and Mary Clark was there, where I dreamt we tripped it lately round the floor. And I held her even priest to mine, while waltzing round the room, that's more than I do ever do afore. Keep your feet still, Geordie hinny, let's be happy through the night, for we may not be so happy through the day. Oh, just give us that bit comfort, keep your feet still, Geordie lad, and even drive me bonny dreams away. Why, you know, the lad she gans with, why they call him Jimmy Green, why I dreamt he tried to spoil us so our fun. But I dreamt I nailed him heavy way. I blacked the heat fuels. If I'd have slept, I'd hate to think what I'd have done. So keep your feet still, Geordie Hinny. Let's be happy through the night. Oh, we may not be so happy through the day. Oh, just give us that bit comfort. Keep your feet still, Geordie lad, and don't drive me bonny dreams away. Way I dreamt Jim Green had left the town and left his love to me. Way the hoose we had was furnished with the best. And there I was just leaving church with Mary by me side, when your geet big clumsy feet spoiled the rest. Keep your feet still, Geordie Hinny, let's be happy through the night. Oh, we may not be so happy through the day. Oh, just give us that bit comfort. Keep your feet still, Geordie lad, and don't drive me bonny dreams away.
Long time ago when I was young, the flowers they bloomed and the birds they sung. A sailor and his lovely bride lay sleeping by the ocean. It's scarce 6 months since we were wed, and oh, how quickly the time has fled. And I must away at the breaking of the day, when the big ship bears my love away. The time goes by and he comes no more, and she lies weeping by the ocean shore. His ship went down in the howling of a storm, and the waves consumed his lifeless form. I wish that I were with him too, beneath the waves of the ocean blue. My soul to God and my body to the sea, and the great green waves are rolling over me. But I'm allowed to because of the age. Advice to young girls. It's a Scottish version of what's the song called that Mark Crosby sings? Rue All the Day. You know the one I mean? It's got it. Come on, ye maids that do get wed, and try your man afore you tak him, or else you'll hate to sing with me. My husband's got nae courage in him. Rue all the day, riddle all the day, rue the day, riddle all the daily. That's the chorus. It's 7 long years I've made his bed, and 6 of them I've lain aside him. But afore I lie sae long again, I'll burn the bed fae all about him. Rue all the day, riddle all the day, rue the day, riddle all the daily. All kinds of food that he has got, all kinds of meat's been provided for him. Fae the oyster pie to the Isle of Rue, but nathan wit but courage in him. Rue all the day, riddle all the day, rue the day, riddle all the daily. We might whine, I wink it at him. We might knees, I pat it at him. With the nails of my toes, I scratched his shins. But nathan wit but courage in him. Rue all the day, riddle all the day, rue the day, riddle all the daily. Come all ye maids that do get wed, and try your man afore you tak him, or else you'll hate to sing with me. My husband's nathan hanging at him. rue all the day, riddle all the day, I rue the day, I riddle all the day. It's quite a long song, but if you listen to the story, it's quite a good story. I roved out one evening fair in the summertime to take the air. I spied a sailor and his lady gay, and I stood to listen, and I stood to listen to hear what they would say. He said, fair maid, why do you roam? For the day is spent and the night is on. She heaved a sigh while the tears did roll, for my dark-eyed sailor, for my dark-eyed sailor, so young and stout and bold. 'Tis 7 long years since he left this land. A ring he took from off his hand. 1/2 of the ring is still here with me, but the other's rolling, but the other's rolling at the bottom of the sea. He said, you may drive him from out of your mind. Some other young man you'll surely find. Love turns aside and soon cold does grow, like a winter's morning, like a winter's morning, the hills all white with snow. She said, I'll never forsake my dear, though we are parted this many a year. Genteel he was, and no rake like you, to induce a maiden, to induce a maiden to slight the jacket blue. 1/2 of the ring did young William show. She ran distracted in grief and woe, crying, William, William, I have gold in store, for my dark-eyed sailor, for my dark-eyed sailor has proved his overthrow. There is a cottage in yonder lea. This couple's married and does agree. So mates, be loyal when your man's at sea. For a cloudy morning, for a cloudy morning brings in a sunny day.
First, I'll sing you some of the songs that came from here. Not all of them from Scotland, some of them from Britain too. I went to America. Little Margaret sitting on her high chair, combing down her long yellow hair, when along come Willie and his new wed bride, riding up the road so near. She threw down her ivory comb and throwed back her long yellow hair, said, I'll go out and I'll bid them farewell, never more to go there. It was all lately in the night, and they's fast asleep. Little Margaret appeared all dressed in white, standing at their bed feet. How do you like your snow white pillow? And how do you like your sheet? How do you like that pretty little lady who's lying in your arms asleep? Very well, I like my snow white pillow. Well, I like my sheet. Much better, I like that pretty little lady who's standing at my bed feet. He called on his serving men to go and saddle up his dapple roan, and he rode to his father's house that night, and he knocked at the door all alone. Is little Margaret in her room, or is she in the hall? Little Margaret's in a cold coffin with her face turned to the wall. Turn down them winding sheets, be they ever so fine, and let me kiss them cold lips. I know they'll never kiss mine. Once to kiss those cold, cold hands, and twice to kiss those cheeks, 3 times kiss them cold lips, and he fell in her arms asleep. Little old man who lived way out west, dan-do, dan-do. Little old man who lived way out west, clash to McClingo. The little old man lived way out west, and he had a wife, and she's none of the best. Splat-a-ma-lat-a-ma-lingo. Little old man went out to his sheepfold, dan-do, dan-do. Little old man went out to his sheepfold, clash to McClingo. Little old man went out to his sheepfold, got him weather tough and old. Splat-a-ma-lat-a-ma-lingo. He hung it up on 2 little pins, dan-do, dan-do. Hung it up on 2 little pins, clash to McClingo. He hung it up on 2 little pins, and about 2 jerks fetched its skin, splat-a-ma-lat-a-ma-lingo. He threw it across his old wife's back, dan-do, dan-do. He threw it across his old wife's back, clash to McClingo. He threw it across his old wife's back, and he got him a stick and made him go crack, splat-a-ma-lat-a-ma-lingo. That ain't finished. Stopped playing, but they had another verse there. And then he says, go tell your people and all you can, I'll do is please some whole sheepskin. But there wasn't much left of it anyhow, so I'll sing you another one. People thought for a long time that the only place British music was in America was in the southern mountains. It wasn't true. It's a lot of other places too, but I'm singing songs from the southern mountains. These are mostly the ones I'll sing first. I think are from Georgia because I'm from there. That's why I know most of those songs. So I'll quit talking and sing you some. This one from Grandma. It's the House Carpenter. I don't have a place to pat my foot. Wait. So high I can't put it. Must be for longer legs. The salt sea, and it's all for the sake of thee. It's all for the love of you. I could have married a rich king's daughter. I know she'd have married me, but I forsook that chest of gold, and it's all for the sake of thee. All for the love of you. If you could have married a rich king's daughter, I'm sure you're to blame. Right mad little House Carpenter, and I think he's an awful nice man. I think he's an awful nice man. If you'll forsake your little House Carpenter and come along with me, I'll take you where the grass grows green on the banks of the St. Willie. On the banks of the St. Willie. She dressed her baby in the finest silk and put it on her knee. Stay here, you tender little baby, keep your father company. Keep your father company. She dressed herself in the finest silk, her body's all of green. The people that saw her go into the ship, they took her to be some queen. Took her to be some queen. Not been on board a ship more than 2 weeks. I know it was not 3 when this pretty maid began to weep, and she wept most bitterly, wept most bitterly. Are you weeping for your gold, or is it for some store? Are you weeping for the little House Carpenter you never will see no more? You never will see no more. I'm not weeping for my gold, neither for no store. I'm weeping for the tender little babe I never will see no more. Never will see no more. She'd not been on board a ship more than 3 weeks. I know it was not 4. The ship sprung a leak and it sank to the deep, never to rise no more. Never to rise no more. A curse on all mankind. A curse, said she. You've robbed me of my tender little babe and taken my life from me. Taken my life from me. One bright sunny day. It was one day in the year. Little Maddie rose to the new church, went the holy word to hear. The holy word to hear. First to come in was a gay lady. The next come in was a reed. Next come in Lord Arnold's wife, the fairest of all 3. The fairest of all 3. She stepped right up to little Maddie Groves and she gave him this reply. Will you come home with me tonight? All night with me to lie, lie, all night with me to lie. If I go home with you tonight, it'd be at the risk of my life. I know by the ring you wear on your hand, you're Lord Arnold's wife. You're Lord Arnold's wife. And if I'm Lord Arnold's wife, I know Lord Arnold's away. He's gone away to old England to see King Henry, to see King Henry. Little foot page was standing by and he took his heels and he run till he come to a broad riverside and he bowed on his breast and swum, bowed on his breast and swum till he come to a highland gate and he took his heels and he run till he come to the king's palace and he knocked the bell and hit rung, knocked the bell and hit rung. What news, my little foot page? What news have you for me? Are my castle walls torn down, or are my castles 3, or are my castles 3? Your castle walls ain't torn down, nor your castles 3. Little Maddie Groves is in your house, in bed with your lady, in bed with your lady. If this be false, my little foot page, that you're telling me, tomorrow the gallows will be made, and hanged you will be, hanged you will be. He took his merry men by the hand, and he put them all in a row. He bade them not one word to speak, and not one horn to blow, not one horn to blow. There was one man among them all, old little Maddie Goodwill. He put his bugle to his mouth, and he blowed both loud and shrill, blowed both loud and shrill. Hark, hark, said little Maddie Groves, I hear the bugle blow. And every note does seem to say, arise, arise and go, arise, arise and go. lie down, little Maddie grows, and keep my back from the cold. It's only my father's shepherd boy, blowing the sheep from the fold, blowing the sheep from the fold. From there they fell to hugging, to kissing, and from there they fell to sleep. When they awoke at the break of day, Lord Arnold stood at their feet, Lord Arnold stood at their feet. Well, how do you like my fine feather bed, and how do you like my sheet? How do you like my gay lady that lies in your arms and sleeps, lies in your arms and sleeps? Very well, I like your fine feather bed, and well, I like your sheet. Much better, I like your gay lady that lies in my arms and sleeps, lies in my arms and sleeps. They'll get you up, little Maddie grows, and all your clothes put on. It never will be said in old England, I slew a naked man, I slew a naked man. I will get up, said little Maddie grows, and I'll fight you for my life. Though you got two swords hanging at your side, and me not a pocket knife, me not a pocket knife. I've got two bright swords at my side that cost me deep in the purse, and you'll have the better of the two. I'll keep the worst, I'll keep the worst. The very first blow little Maddie struck, it wounded Arnold sore. The very first blow Lord Arnold struck, little Maddie struck no more, little Maddie struck no more. He took his lady by the hand, and he downed her on his knee. Now which do you like the best, my dear, little Maddie Groves or me? Little Maddie Groves or me? Well, I like your red rosy cheeks, and well, I like your dimpled chin. Better I like little Maddie Groves than you or all your kin, you or all your kin. He took his lady by the hand, and he led her on the plain. He took his broadsword from his side and split her head in twain, split her head in twain. Hark, hark, the nightingales sing, and the sparrows they do cry. Today I've killed two true loves, and tomorrow I must die, die, tomorrow I must die.
Time to stay here and a long time to be gone. We'll try it. Little birdie, come and sing your song. I've a short time to stay here and a long time to be gone again. If you will, oh little birdie, come and sing your song. I've a short time. On my knee, oh little birdie, come
single man, having all my fun. Little birdie, come and sing me your song. I've short time to stay here, and a long time to be gone. Conviction about rather being a single man, but the man I learned it from had 6 kids and living on welfare in Kentucky. Sing you another one of the songs I learned from him. And I shot her down. As I went back home and I went to bed. As I went back home and I went to bed, says I stuck my pistol right under my head. Says I begun to think on the crime I done. Says I begun to think on the crime I done. Says I grabbed my hat and I started to run. I made a pretty good run, but a little too slow. I made a pretty good run, but a little too slow. So the sheriff overtook me down in Baltimore. I was standing on the corner, just reading a bill. So standing on the corner, just reading a bill, up stalked the sheriff from Louisville. Young man, is your name Brown? Young man, is your name Brown? I believe you're the man shot your woman down. No sir, my name is Robert E. Lee. No sir, my name is Robert E. Lee. If you've got any papers, don't read them to me. As I left from the train, all painted in black. As I left from the train, all painted in black. So they arrested me and they're taking me back. I got up early next morning, put on my boots. I got up early next morning, put on my boots. So they sent me down to Frankfurt to wear the striped suit. Dishes to wash, the spring to go to. Ain't got no one to help me, Lord, I've got it all to do. Lord, I wish I was a single girl again. When I was single, I wore clothes so fine. Now that I'm married, Lord, I wear just any old kind. Lord, I wish I was a single girl again. When I was single, I had good things to eat. Now that I'm married, Lord, it's cabbage without the meat. Lord, I wish I was a single girl again. I took in some water washing and I made $1 or $2. My husband went and stole it, Lord, and I don't know what to do. Don't I wish I was a single girl again. 2 little children lying in the bed, both of them so hungry, Lord, they can't raise up their heads. Don't I wish I was a single girl again. When I was single, marrying's all I crave. Now that I'm married, Lord, I'm troubled to my grave. Don't I wish I was a single girl again. Single life is a happy life, and a single life is lovely. I'm single and no man's wife, and no man can control me. Some will court you for a while, only to deceive you. When they find they've won your heart, they'll run away and leave you. Some will come on a Saturday night, and some will come on a Sunday. And if you give them half a chance, they'll stay with you till Monday. A single life is a happy life, single life is lovely. I'm single and no man's wife, and no man can control me. I think I'll switch over and sing you some songs from a little bit later on from Depression Time America. Need the guitar. You may have heard it under the name of All Around the Water Tank. This time it's called The Danville Girl. On a Danville girl. Boys, that kid was out of sight. She wore them Danville curls, fur and waist so stylish she trailed the fashion too. Whenever that mountain train goes by, I'll bid that girl adieu. I don't know why I loved her. She never cared for me, but oh, my heart was the one to live wherever she may be. Mother told me long ago in the days when I was young, says, dear boy, you better watch out because a day like this will come. I walked up to the conductor, I gave him a line of talk. He says, I'll take your money, boy, and I'll see that you don't walk. But when he found that I was broke, he turned around and cried, says, you'll have to get off of this railroad train, you can't bum your ride. Well, I hung all around the water tank till the next freight train come by. He'd come screaming around the bend, and I caught her on the fly. The engine screamed and the whistle blew and the bells begun to ring. I swung onto that old boxcar and I bummed that railroad train. Well, now I'm in your city, boys, and I'm trying to do what's right. Don't think because I'm a railroad bum that I ain't all right. Just give me a job and I'll settle down and I'll work with all my might. I'll sure be on the job every day and I won't ramble out at night. That girl I left in Danville, that girl like to broke my heart. The girl I left in Danville, from her I had to part. If ever I play another hand, I hope I'll win. But I don't want to ever see that Danville girl again. One of the Mills songs that Dorsey wrote. He wrote both of them. North Carolina for most of his life until about, I think about 7 years ago he retired, started playing in folk clubs in America. He wrote many songs about the mill. A lot of times he just took songs he'd heard in the mill community from people he worked with and wrote a few more words to them. I don't know where this one came from. Maybe he made it up entirely. I used to be a factory hand when things was moving slow, when children worked in cotton mills each morning. us to learn, but if you want to learn it and sing it, you can. I'll sing it one more time. Come out of bed, little sleepyhead, and get you a bite to eat. Five whistles calling you, there's no more time to sleep. Those children all grew up unlearned, they never went to school. They never learned to read or write, they learned to spin and spoon. Many times when things went wrong, their bosses often frowned. Many times those little ones was kicked and shoved around. Come out of bed, little sleepyhead, and get you a bite to eat. Five whistles calling you, there's no more time to sleep. To their jobs, those little ones were strictly forced to go. Those babies had to be on time through rain and sleet and snow. Every time I close my eyes, I see that picture still, when textile work was carried on by babies in the mill. Come out of bed, little sleepyhead, and get you a bite to eat. But that whistle's calling you, there's no more time to sleep. And a mill sung by a man that at one time was a railroad bum. His name was Dave McCarn. The Serves and Fines, the title of it. He started bumming in 1929 when he was unemployed in North Carolina. He went out to the West for, I think, about a month, and he didn't find any job in the West. There was depression all over the country, not just in North Carolina. So he bummed back on a train, came through Nashville, Tennessee, and there by chance ran into a man, one of the scouts who was down there looking for country music to make records for, to sell the country people, a man from the Victor Talking Machine Company. He made 11 records, and that was the total of his musical professional career. And he went back to milling for a while when there was enough employment. This is a song he wrote about mountain families who had been farmers who left the mountains and came down to work in industry in between 1900 and 1920. Lots of people with a free goodwill sold their homes and moved to the mill. They'll have lots of money, they said. Well, everybody got hell instead. It's fun in the mountains roving logs, but now when the whistle blows, you run like dogs. It suits us people, it serves them fine. We're thinking the mill's a darn gold mine. Now in the year 1925, the mills all stood, but we're still alive. People kept coming when the weather was fine, just like they're going to big gold mines. Time passed on, their money did too. Everyone began to feel kind of blue. If we'd had any sense up in our dome, we'd still be living in our mountain home. It suits us people, it serves them fine. We're thinking the mill's a darn gold mine. Now in the year 1930, they don't pay nothing and they do us dirty. If we ever do manage to get ahead, it seems like all the mills go dead. We're down in the hole, getting deeper every day. If we ever get even, be Judgment Day. There's no use to colic and there's no use to shirk. There's more people loafing than there is at work. It suits us people, it serves them fine. We're thinking the mill's a darn gold mine. And all you mountaineers listening to me, take off your hats and shout, whoopee. I'm going back home in the land of the sky, where we all drink moonshine and never do die. I'll take my dog when the moon shines bright, and I'm on coon and possum the whole darn night. If If you can't get the money to move away, it's too bad, folks, you'll have to stay. It suits you people, it serves you fine, but thinking the mill's a darn gold mine. Before I leave off the subject, let me sing you just two little short words. Farther north up in Virginia. He was about to leave off his mill work when he wrote the song to go also and tried to be a professional musician. He tried it for about 3 years. Found he couldn't make any money and became an automobile mechanic. His name's Cecil Kinzer. Working in a cotton mill, I'm fighting for my life. I'm trying to make a living for my kids and my wife. Some are needing clothes and some are needing shoes. All I got left is a cotton mill blues. I got the blues. I got the blues. I got them old cotton mill blues. My pay's getting smaller and my work's getting hard. I have to eat my biscuits without any lard. I don't know what's next I'm gonna do. I done gone crazy with the cotton mill blues. I got the blues. I got the blues. I got them all cotton mill blues. At the end of every week I draw my pay, and every doggone collector standing in my way. I'm fighting for my life, but I think I'm gonna lose. I done gone crazy with the cotton mill blues. I got the blues. I got the blues. I got them all cotton mill blues. The ends are coming down, the devil's coming through. The devil's in your alley and he's coming after you. We're fighting for our lives, but I think we're gonna lose. We all gone crazy with the cotton mill blues. I got the blues. I got the blues. I got them all cotton mill blues. They'll hunt around and they'll find a little educated man, and he'll stand around with a watch in his hand to see if you're doing all you can do. We all gone crazy with the cotton mill blues. I got the blues. I got the blues. I got them all cotton mill blues. Come on now, boss, with a little more pay. You know, we're down to 3 or 4 days. Our pockets are empty, ain't got no booze. We all gone crazy with the cotton mill blues. I got the blues. I got the blues. I got them all cotton mill blues.
All this bit about being familiar in St Andrews, what exactly do you mean? I don't know anybody. I'll sing a sitting down while you're getting your beer song. While cruising round here another one day for the spree, a fast going clipper I chance for the sea. I'm a fair going duck, see me kind sir, says she. Well, I'm ready for cargo, me all is quite free. With me fall-a-roll-a-dee and fall-a-roll-day, fall-a-roll-a-dee, right, fall-a-roll-day. Which country she come from I could not tell which, but by her appearance I'd say she was Dutch. Her flag wore its colours, her masthead was low. She was round in the quarters and bluffing the bow with her fal-de-ral laddie and fal-de-ral day. Fal-de-ral laddie, right fal-de-ral day. Well, I threw her me hawser and took her in tow. Yard arm to yard arm, together we go. We both cruise together till we come to Lehigh. We both cruise together round Trafalgar Bay with her fal-de-ral laddie and fal-de-ral day. Fal-de-ral laddie, right fal-de-ral day. In a neat little harbour she soon had me moored. On very soon her topsail she lowered. She lowered her topsail, topgallantsail and all. And her lily white hand on me reef tackle fell with her fal-de-ral laddie and fal-de-ral day. Fal-de-ral laddie, right fal-de-ral day. I've actually learnt another verse, or I've got another verse. I drew her alongside and I grappled her fast, and in through her household me cable I passed. Household. All night in safe armour we lay there and rolled, with me bilge water slushing around in her roll, with her fal-de-ral laddie and fal-de-ral day. Fal-de-ral laddie, right fal-de-ral day. Says I me good night and you'd better give o'er. Twixt wind and water you run me ashore. Me shot barrels empty, me powders all spent, and I can't fire a shot for I'm choked at the vent with me fal-de-ral laddie and fal-de-ral day. Fal-de-ral laddie, right fal-de-ral day. Here's a health to the girl with the black curly locks. Here's a health to the mate that's run Jack on the rocks. Here's a health to the doctor what's eased all his pain. Squared his main yard and he's cruising again with his fal-de-ral laddie and fal-de-ral day. Fal-de-ral laddie, right fal-de-ral day. I'd rather not show this. It's of a bright young butcher lad, as I have heard him say. He arrived at an inn in Newcastle all of a market day. He called for liquor of the best, being but a roving blade, and all at once his eyes they lit all on the serving maid. He called her for a candle to light him up to bed, but when she come into the room these very words he said: "One golden sovereign I give to you for to enjoy your charms." And all that night the fair maid rolled all in the butcher's arms. 'Twas early in the morning and he arose to go away. Said the landlord, "Here's the reckoning bill what you forgot to pay." "Oh no," then said the butcher, "and you must not think it strange. 1 sovereign I give your maid and I have not got me change." They called the fair maid to the room and charged her with the same. The golden sovereign she lay down for fear she'd get the blame. But when the butcher home he got, he smiled at what had passed, little thinking that this fair maid then she'd have revenge at last. 'Twas all of 12 months after he come to town again, and just as he had done before he stopped at this same inn. 'Twas then the pretty chambermaid she happened him to see, and brought a child just 3 months old and laid it on his knee. The butcher then all at this child in wonderment did stare, but when the joke he did find out how he did stamp and swear. Says she, "Kind sir, it is your own, and you need not think it strange. 1 sovereign you give to me, and here I brought your change." She took him all unto a judge who happened to live near. It cost him nigh on 100 grand before he could get clear. So come on, you brisk and rollicking lads, if a mind to ramble and range. If ever you sport with chambermaids, you're sure to get your change.
And now Dougie and John.
One of the favourite practices of the Irish is brewing illicit alcohol, as you all know, and this is a song about this. A great chorus, so join in please. 3.
If I can remember the words now.
That grass is growing, water's flowing a free and an easy way. But give me an up on the fine old stuff that blooms near Galway Bay. For the pillars all from Donegal, Sligo and Meadow too. I will give them all a sip as we take a sip for the rare old Mountain Dew. Hey, diddly-lum, diddly-doo-lay-lum, diddly-doo-ray, diddly-ay-day. Hey, diddly-lay-lum, diddly-doo-lay-lum, diddly-doo-ray, diddly-ay-day. At the foot of the hill there's a neat in the silver smoke curls up to the sky. By smoke and smell you can plainly tell that it's quenching through nearby. It fills the air with an odour rare and twixt both me and you. At home you're all you can take a bowl or a bucket of the Mountain Dew. Hey, diddly-lay-lum, diddly-doo-lay-lum, diddly-doo-ray, diddly-ay-day. Hey, diddly-lay-lum, diddly-doo-lay-lum, diddly-doo-ray, diddly-ay-day. Now learn a band who use the pen have wrote their praises high of the sweet poteen from Ireland's green distilled from wheat and rye. Throw away your pills, it'll cure all ills, be a pagan, Christian or Jew. Take off your coat and praise your throat, be a bucket of the Mountain Dew. Hey! Diddly-lay-lum, diddly-doo-lay-lum, diddly-doo-ray, diddly-ay-day. Hey! Diddly-lay-lum, diddly-doo-lay-lum, diddly-doo-ray, diddly-ay-day.
Solveig. Yes. Well, this is an American one called Sylvia. That's the same song. Sylvia rode out one day. She dressed herself in a man's array, with a sword and pistol hanging by her side, to meet her true love, away did ride. She met her love all on the plain. Stand and deliver, kind sir, she said. Stand and deliver your golden store, or else at this moment your life you bore. He delivered to her his golden store, but still she cries, there's one thing more. It's that diamond ring I have seen you wear. Deliver that, and your life I'll spare. That diamond ring was my own true love's. Before I'll part with that, my life I'll lose. Being tender-hearted just like a dove, she rode away from her own true love. As they were walking in the garden green, just like two lovers they were seen. She saw her gold watch. Oh, sorry about that. Oh. He saw his gold watch hang by her clothes, which made him blush like a blooming rose. What makes you blush, you silly thing? It's I who wanted your diamond ring. It's I who robbed you of your golden store. Now here's your watch, love, and your store again. What makes you venture on such a plot? What if my pistol I'd drawn and shot? And terrible rhythm, but I'm learning it. I better practice it at home. Woo, that's terrible. I'll go back, sing you some coal mining songs. Coal mines against free labor stout. Free labor rebelled against it to win it took some time. But while the lease was in effect, they made them rise and shine. Oh, buddy, won't you roll down the line? Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Yonder come my darling coming down the line. Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Yonder come my darling coming down the line. march 'em down to Lone Rock. Said to look into that mine, they'll march you down to Lone Rock. To look into that hole, the very last word the captain said, you better get your coat. Oh, buddy, won't you roll down the line? Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Yonder come my darling, coming down the line. Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Yonder come my darling, coming down the line. The beans are half done and the bread hit ain't so well. The meat's all burnt up and the coffee's black as hell. But when you get your work done, you're glad to come to call. For anything you get to eat, it tastes good done or raw. Oh, buddy, won't you roll down the line? Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Yonder come my darling, coming down the line. Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Roll down the line. Yonder come my darling, coming down the line. The bank boss is a hard man, a man you all know well. If you don't get your work done, he's gonna give you hell. He'll take you to the stockade. It's on the floor you'll fall. And the very last time he calls on you, you bet you'll have your coat. Oh, buddy, won't you roll down the line? Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Yonder come my darling, coming down the line. Buddy, won't you roll down the line? Roll down the line. Yonder come my darling, coming down the line. In the first line. This one comes from Kentucky. La 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 la. Is very common imagery from the Depression and early days when there was a lot of Marxism or hope for a communist revolution in the West, in America and Britain and a lot of Western Europe. It is the deprived child of the working class compared to the rich, greedy capitalist. You saw it in a lot of art then. And there's one picture of George Gross that I remember in Germany, this tiny little girl with a rib cage quite caved in and the skin drawn tight around it, standing quite naked in front of a capitalist, in front of a table, holding his gold. He's grabbing it. Through the window you can see the factories. This is the same imagery, written by someone in the coal fields, don't know who, from a sentimental song, probably a music hall song called The Orphan Child. She's written it into a song now called The Coal Miner's Child. I have no home, said the coal miner's child, at the door of a rich man's hall. She trembling stood on the marble steps and leaned on the polished wall. My father was killed in the coal mine, she said, as the tears dimmed her eyes so bright. And last of all, my mother's dead, I'm an orphan alone tonight. The night was cold and the snow fell fast, but the rich man closed his door. His pale lips burned with scorn when he said, no room, no bread for the poor. The rich man slept on his velvet couch and dreamed of his silver and gold. The orphan laid on a bed of snow, dying of hunger and cold. This is a story of a coal miner's child, a little girl only 9 years old. She was found dead by a rich man's door. She died of hunger and cold. 29 in KJ, Kentucky, from his jailmate who was in on a murder charge. It was about the same place the first song came from, Cold Creek, Tennessee, an explosion there. Shut up in the mines of Cold Creek. Well, my daddy wasn't in on a murder charge, it was his jailmate. Daddy was in for organizing unions. Shut up in the mines of Cold Creek, and I know I'll have to die. Go tell my dear old mother that I'm prepared to die. The birds are gaily singing up on the mountain high. Go tell my wife and children that I'm prepared to die. Shut up in the mines of Cold Creek, and I know I'll have to die. Go tell my miner friends I ain't afraid to die. Songs. Let me sing you just one more, and then I think I'll sing you a farm song. This is from down in Tennessee, where the coal veins give out, really. They start up in Pennsylvania, Ohio, go down through the mountains through West Virginia and Kentucky, a little bit in Virginia, give out around Tennessee. This was written in 1933, the first line tells you that too, by the teenage daughter of a union organizer who had been assassinated or shot or murdered by gun thugs in Wilder, Tennessee. Before then, 3 years before then, the miners who were union miners were all unemployed because as soon as a miner joined the union, he was fired. Naturally. When they were issued contracts, the miners called the contracts yellow dog contracts because it agreed that you wouldn't join the union and you wouldn't strike for better wages and you would accept cuts if the management thought cuts were necessary. The miners, therefore, for 3 years in Wilder had been living nothing from work, but from what students in Nashville, Tennessee could gather up in the community and bring in every Sunday and distribute. The reason for that was there wasn't any mining funds. The United Mine Workers Union then was very, very young. It didn't have any money like it has now. On April the 30th in 1933, on the streets of Wilder they shot him brave and free. They shot my darling father, he fell upon the ground. 'Twas in the back they shot him, the blood came streaming down. They took their pistol handles and beat him on the head. The hired gunmen beat him till he was cold and dead. When he left home that morning, I thought he'd soon return. But for my darling father, my heart will ever yearn. We took him to the graveyard, and there we laid him down to sleep in death for many a year in the cold and sodden ground. Although he left the union, he tried so hard to build. His blood was spilled for justice, and justice guides us still. called Palms of Victory. But in 1890, a farmers' political party called the Populists took the tune and made it into this song of theirs. I saw an honest farmer, his back was bending low. He's picking out his cotton as hard as he could go. He piled it in the rail pen until the merchant came, that he might attach his cotton, that he should pay his claim. It's pans of biscuits and bowls of gravy, pans of biscuits we shall have. It's pans of biscuits and bowls of gravy, pans of biscuits we shall have. I saw him in the evening, his back was against a tree, his poor old head was aching, he rolled upon his knee. I'll be compelled to go home, for surely I'll die, my head's coming staking, I heard the farmer cry. It's pans of biscuits and bowls of gravy, pans of biscuits we shall have. It's pans of biscuits, bowls of gravy, pans of biscuits we shall have. I've toiled all my lifetime and still I find I'm poor. Without an education, my children's left my door. I saw an honest farmer, his back was bending low. He's picking out his cotton as hard as he could go. It's pans of biscuits, bowls of gravy, pans of biscuits we shall have. Pans of biscuits, bowls of gravy, pans of biscuits we shall have. We got good people, and it's their belief what we need for the people's a farm relief. And it looks to me we should all agree what we need for the people's a farm relief. Kids all ragged and they got no shoes, clothes, shoes. All we got's a farm relief blues. We got good people and they all know well what the poor old farmer makes he can't sell. And it looks to me we should all agree what we need for the people is a farm relief. We need a sow belly with turnip greens, but we sure do have to plan and scheme. We all start working at the break of day, and we don't get credit and we don't get paid. It looks to me we should all agree what we need for the people's a farm relief. Rent's too high and the market's too low. We ask for credit and they all say no. We got good people and they all know well what the poor old farmer makes he can't sell. It looks to me we should all agree what we need for the people's a farm relief. The little bee sucks a blossom clean. The big bee gets all the honey it seems, because the little man makes all the cotton and corn, and the big man goes around tooting his horn. It looks to me we should all agree what we need for the people's a farm relief. Bo Weevil and a cotton, he's everywhere. Maybe he's in Washington or way up there. You get there before I do. And they got no wheels and I'll come too. And it looks to me we should all agree what we need for the people is a farm relief. So after I play Shady Grove, I'll play Barbara Allen. Walking behind Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going to Shady Grove. You ought to see my pretty little girl. I brought her from the south. Hair so tight on top of her head, she couldn't even close her mouth. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my honey. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going to Shady Grove. Her head was like a coffee pot, her nose was like a spout, her mouth was like an old fireplace with the ashes shoveled out. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my honey. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going to Shady Grove. I took her to a barber shop to have her mouth made small. She opened up her mouth so big and wide, she swallowed the barber and all. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, my honey. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm going to Shady Grove. Sometime then a little later on, when the buzz was blooming, young William on his deathbed lay for the love of Barbara Allen. master's servant to the town where she was dwelling. My master's sick and he bids you come, if your name be Barbara Allen. Oh, slowly she got up, and slowly she come nigh him, and all she said when she got there, young man, I think you're dying. Oh yes, I'm sick, I'm very sick, and death is on me dwelling. No better I ever shall be if I can't have Barbara Allen. Don't you remember the other day, you was in the tavern drinking, you drank a health to the ladies all around, but you slighted Barbara Allen. Yes, I remember the other day, I was in the tavern drinking, I drank a health to the ladies all around and gave my love to Barbara Allen. He turned his pale face to the wall, for death was drawing nigh him. Farewell, farewell, my dear friends all, be kind to Barbara Allen. As she was walking o'er the hill, she heard the death bells knelling, and every stroke did seem to say, hard-hearted Barbara Allen. Oh, Father, go and dig my grave, and dig it deep and narrow. Young William died for me today, I'll die for him tomorrow. They buried him in the old churchyard, Barbara beside her lover. From William's grave grew a red, red rose, from Barbara's grew a briar. They grew to the old church top, till they couldn't grow no higher. They all tied up in a true lover's knot, the rose run round the briar.
It's a song from 1929 by a German in between the First World War and the Second World War. The words mean, Mother, why have you raised your son? Why have you tortured yourself about him for 20 years? Why has he run into your arms? And why have you said something to him until he was taken away from the for the trenches? Young man, can you still remember your father? He used to take you on his arm, and he played cops and robbers with you and wanted to give you a coin until they took him away for the trenches. Over there, our French comrades, because it's from the 20s and he was a communist, our French comrades are lying thick by the English working men. All have lost their blood, and now they lie thick side by side. Old men, and many young boys, in one large mass grave. Don't be proud of order and medals and scars. In the grave, no, in the trenches, the Junkers, the greed of the industrialists and the state's madness stuck you. You were good enough for the ravens to gobble down, for the trenches and for the grave. Throw away the flag. The military band is playing to your death dance.
When you're dead, a wreath from flowers will be the thank you get from your fatherland. Think about the rattle of death instead. Over there's mothers and fathers and sons. They're trying like you're trying, just a little bit. Why don't you reach the hand to them across the trenches? Mutter, wozu hast du deinen aufgezogen? Hast dich 20 Jahre mit ihm gequält und er ist dir in deinen Arm geflogen und du hast ihm leise was erzählt, bis sie ihn dir weggenommen haben für den Graben, Mutter, für den Graben, Mutter, für den Graben. Junge, kannst du noch an deinem Vater denken? Vater nahm dich oft auf seinem Arm und er wollte dir ein Groschen schenken und er spielte mit dir Räuber und Gendarm, bis sie ihn dir weggenommen haben. Für das Grab, Kameraden, für den Graben, für das Grab, Kameraden, für den Graben. Drüben die französische Genossen lagen dicht bei Englands Arbeitsmann. Alle haben sie ihr Blut vergossen und zerschossen ruht heut Mann bei Mann. Alte Leute, Männer, manche Knabe in dem einen großen Massengraben, in dem einen großen Massengraben. Seid nicht stolz auf Orden und Getrunke, seid nicht stolz auf Narben und die Zeit. In die Gräben schickten euch die Junker, Staatsmann, der Fabrikant, der Neid. Ihr wart gut genug zum Fraß für Raben, für das Grab, Kameraden, für den Graben, für das Grab, Kameraden, für den Graben. Werft die Fahnen vor, die Militärkapellen spielen auf zu eurem Todestanz. Seid ihr Hineinkranz von Immortellen, das ist dann der Dank des Vaterlands. Denkt an Todeswürschel und Gestöhne, drüben stehen Väter, Mütter, Söhne, schütteln schwer wie ihr ums bisschen Leben. Wollt ihr denen nicht die Hände geben? Reich die Bruderhand als schönste aller Gaben, übern Graben, Leute, übern Graben, Leute, übern Graben. In dem Tal dort am Rio Jarama. It's a song from the Spanish Civil War written by another German with an American folk tune put in. But instead of singing it, I'll sing you one from East Berlin currently. So a man named Wolf Biermann who defected from the West, from the Bundesrepublik, and went over to live in the Deutsche Democratic Republic, in the German Democratic Republic. The reason he went was because he's a communist and he believes that that's the future that he wants, that he believes in. Since he's there, he's written very critical things about the I suppose you can, I don't like to call things regimes just because they're in the East and it sounds too much like our journalism when I do, but the Ulbricht regime, everyone knows it's not democratic and he's complained about it. And he can't sing there anymore, but he refuses to leave because he doesn't want his ideas to be discredited. So he's a persona non grata. When he goes into a television station, there are people posted there, the police are posted, as a matter of fact, to not let him enter, to not let him sing. Despite it, he stays a communist and wants it to be a democratic communism. This song isn't about communism, it's about war again. It's called das Ballad-Lied. Ballad was a German artist. The subject of it is really the population of a country is completely helpless in time of war. They simply feel the suffering and they don't know what hit them. They don't know what to do about it. It's a child saying to her mother, "Mother, close the window. I think it's going to rain. I see a wall of clouds over there that's going to lay itself on top of us. What's going to become of us who are oppressed by such great need? The angels are falling dead from heaven to earth. Mother, close the door. 1,000 rats are coming. The hungry ones are coming in front and the full ones are coming behind." Mother, close your eyes. The rain and the rats are pressing through the cracks we'd forgotten about.
Mutter, mach die Fenster zu, ich glaub, es kommt ein Regen. Da drüben steht die Wolkenwand, die will sich auf uns legen. Was soll aus uns noch werden? Uns droht so große Not. Vom Himmel auf die Erde fallen sich die Engel tot. Ach, Mutter, mach die Türe zu, da kommen 1000 Ratten. Die Hungrigen sind vorne weg, dahinter sind die Satten. Was soll aus uns noch werden? Uns droht so große Not. Vom Himmel auf die Erde fallen sich die Engel tot. Ach, Mutter, mach die Augen zu, der Regen und die Ratten. Jetzt dringt es durch die Ritzen ein, die wir vergessen hatten. Was soll aus uns noch werden? Uns droht so große Not. Vom Himmel auf die Erde fallen sich die Engel tot.
Wondering why I'm concerned with war, it's because I'm American. You just can't get away from it. You have to think about it. Let me sing you one more song that's about escaping from thinking. It's a theft from whoever wrote The Sound of Music. And it's not by me. Excesses of wine, spaghetti, Ginsberg and Corso, Janae, Ferlinghetti, marijuana and yoga and strange happenings. These are a few of my favorite things. Hashish and opium, all you can find, psilocybin and methadone blowing my mind, and that expanded feeling LSD brings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the fuzz comes and I'm busted and I'm feeling oh so bad, I'll just swallow a few of my favorite things. Then I won't feel so bad. Mandrake root salad, food strange and mad, Hieronymus Bosch and the Marquis de Sade, erotica fancy, erotica straight. These are the things that just make me feel great. Blue scaly monsters clawing with black nails, absinthe and Spanish fly in my cocktails, Zen Buddhist monks with their yings and their yangs. These are a few of my favorite things. Timothy Leary and his holy work, Ken Kesey, John Cage, the great Roland Kirk, and wild-eyed mystics reading I Chings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the fuzz comes and I'm busted, and me and the clean they swing, I'll just swallow a few of my favorite things, and then I won't know a thing. Biggest bull from Texas this country's had to buck. He's got more gold than Billy Saul, but he's had better luck. Billy Saul was the man that got caught embezzling funds in Congress. You talk about Napoleon, talk of Roman Caesar too, but the yellow road from Texas has got them all beat by a mile or two. No more Linden, no more Linden, no more Linden over me. For I'll be fenced in, I'll vote for Ho Chi Minh, go to the north to be free. Go tell Robert McNamara, go
Go tell Sergeant Shriver, go tell Lyndon Johnson, the poverty war is dead, the one they've been saving on, the one they've been economizing on. It died in the Congress from being painted red. The government's got a new plan. The government's got another plan. The government's got another plan to build planes and bombs instead. So go tell Lyndon Johnson, go tell Robert McNamara, go tell Sergeant Shriver, the poverty war is dead. Hush, little nation, don't say a word. Hoover will have you overheard. Hush, little nation, go to bed. Lyndon will keep you overfed. Riding through the Reich in a Mercedes-Benz, shooting all the kites and making lots of friends. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat, mow the bastards down. Oh, what fun it is to have the Nazis back in town. Maybe I can go back to America and learn some more student songs. Here's a song that I don't usually admit I wrote about folk in the folk scene. The neurotic part, that's not us. We can sing it. The chorus of it is, where did we come from and where will we go? How'd we get here? Is there anything we know? We think awful hard, but not too clear, and we may be mad this time next year. Here we are together in a pale green disease. We bicker and gossip, we're impossible to please. We're tortured and we torture and we don't know why. We rant in public and in private we cry. Where did we come from and where will we go? How'd we get here? Is there anything we know? We think awful hard, but not too clear, and we may be mad this time next year. We know each other well, and we can treat each other dear, but we're quite overcome by jealousy and fear. We're threatened and afraid, and we trust ne'er a one. We always keep a guard up, we're fickle as they come. Where did we come from, and where will we go? How'd we get here? Is there anything we know? We think awful hard, but not too clear, and we may be mad this time next year. They're a jumpy crew, not a smile's on her face, except a little nervous one hanging there with paste. We got to be serious, there's no other choice. We're sure to be condemned if there's humor in our voice. Where did we come from and where will we go? How'd we get here? Is there anything we know? We think awful hard, but not too clear, and we may be mad this time next year. If you want to be miserable, here's what to do. Scroll up your face and join our crew. Don't dare be tolerant, rarely be kind. Pronounce your opinion, put your foot down and grind. Where did we come from and where will we go? How'd we get here? Is there anything we know? We think awful hard, but not too clear, and we may be mad this time next year. I have a fear also that I'm running over time. I wonder if you'd like to leave or to sing a song with me or to hear something. I'll be democratic. Is there something you would like? You want to hear something traditional? Do you want to tell me? What? What? Did you say something? Do you want to hear a ballad or you want to sing a mill song? You know, a nice mill song. What? Did you say something? Willie Moore? All I know is a German song by the name of William Moore. I'm sorry, it must not be the one you want.
Some Vietnam song.
What?
Some Vietnam song.
See if I know. I think the only one I really know, well, no, there's a German one again. It's a Vietnam song. It has a, what? Okay.
It's a song by a lady that writes songs about Vietnam sometimes. It's by Melvina Reynolds. She's a lady that wrote Little Boxes and What Have They Done to the Rain. She lives in Berkeley, California. Grows her own food. She's about 65 now. So I'll end by singing you her song, New Restaurant. That's terrible. I went into a restaurant, no, it was a dream. From half mile up the highway, you could see the fixtures gleam. They heated up the coffee cups with extra pressure steam, but the food was terrible. The waitresses were charming and they had such lovely eyes. Their smiles matched exactly and the uniforms likewise. Their hair piled neat as toppings on pies, but the food was terrible. The decor was a symphony in brown and gold and white. The silver and the crockery would fill you with delight. The menu was a masterpiece, so witty and bright, but the food was terrible. They must have spent a fortune on the furniture and such, on the placemats and napkins like linen to the touch, so the budget for the kitchen wasn't really very much, and the food was terrible. In another generation we'll forget the taste of meat, of tomatoes from the garden and the bread that's made of wheat, and we'll never even notice when it's plastic we eat that the food is terrible. I've been to
well over time already, and thanks again to Hedy West for a very good night indeed.